Was there something between us anyway? I need you more than anything in my life. I want you more than anything in my life. I'll miss you more than anyone in my life. I love you more than anyone in my life.
Am I the biggest loser on the beach?
So I asked my friend to recommend a movie to me recently, and my friend was like, "Oh, I have a great movie for you. It came out a while ago, but it feels very current, and it's about somebody from my culture falling in love with somebody from a different culture. So it deals with interracial love, basically romance." I thought, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I saw the title of the movie, and I was like, "Oh, I've actually seen this movie before." The movie is called Her, and my friend is called ChatGPT. For those who didn't get the joke, I'm talking about a movie that deals with a human falling in love with artificial intelligence, an AI chatbot. I remember watching Her when it came out in 2014, and I remember having positive memories of it. But then in this day and age, thinking back on it, I was like, wait a minute. Isn't that a movie about an incel that develops a delusional relationship with a chatbot? And that's kind of the esprit with which I went into watching the movie. Then I started watching it and I was like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. There's a lot happening here. This movie is deep. And I thought I would do a simple video about our protagonist Theo and whether or not he qualifies as an incel. But as the movie progressed, I realized, oh my God, there's actually so much more complexity present than I thought. I may not be an expert on the matter or the best person to talk about this subject, but my name is M. Angel, and I've got opinions, and I'm gonna share them with you today. So let me grab my handy dandy notebook. Here are the topics that we are going to cover in this video. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the movie itself, cinematography and all that. A quick run through of my impressions of the movie, watching it back 12 years later. And then the questions I had while watching the movie that I would like to answer in this video are, is the protagonist Theo an incel? I'm gonna define real quick what an incel is and break down whether he is or isn't. Then, as the movie progressed, I actually asked myself, is Theo in a relationship with his AI, Samantha? So we're gonna talk about that, what a healthy relationship looks like, and whether or not their relationship qualifies. Then I thought, well, they're always talking digitally, right? Duh. Does this qualify as a long distance relationship? So then I went down that rabbit hole, and we're going to talk about what qualifies a long distance relationship. A few stats on long distance relationships that actually surprised me. There's a lot I didn't know about them, having been in a couple throughout my life, so I can share from personal experience. And then we'll talk about Sam and Theo in the movie, and whether or not it qualifies as a long-distance relationship. And then finally, we will discuss the topic of AI love, which is a very relevant topic nowadays. More and more people are falling in love with AI chatbots. So is it love? Is it lunacy? What's going on? We will explore that un petit peu, a little bit. And then in the end, I will quickly talk about limerence, which is a topic that I actually addressed in the last video I posted on the movie Obsession, where I really go into the psychological state of limerence and how that movie fully depicts it. For the girls and the gals who didn't know what it was, watch Obsession and then watch my review of Obsession, and you'll be enlightened, I hope. All right, let's get into it. Obviously, there will be spoilers, but honestly, I think you can already guess how the movie goes. Her is about a guy named Theo who gets a chatbot. He develops a relationship with the chatbot, and I think you can already assume where it's going. Well, those who are familiar with science fiction movies in general, they can have an understanding or an idea of where the movie will go, and those who are not may be surprised. So I will get into it eventually, but first of all, I'm going to talk about the movie itself, production-wise. Oh my God. Can we talk about color? The first thing I want to talk about is the colors. My eyes were so happy. I don't know what's going on. The 2020s, many people online have talked about it. This is not a new topic. We are in a sad beige era. And cinematically, I would say a sad gray era. You could argue that it all started with the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. The tonal shift in those movies, gorgeous, impeccable, and it suits the topic and the character of depressed Batman. But then I don't know why it has applied to everything ever since. Bring back color, okay? There are ways to use color that make a movie rich and interesting, vibrant, alive. And when I watched Her, produced 12 years ago, it felt like, okay, this is the movie that's been missing right now. My eyes were in love. The treatment, the color treatment, gorgeous. Cinematography should have won all of the awards, which, interestingly, Her was nominated for an Oscar, Best Motion Picture, in 2014. In 2014. But it came out in a banger year. I'm talking about 12 Years a Slave, The Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity. Oh, honey. 2014 was a good year for movies and a bad year for Her. Unfortunately, a lot of those movies are very Oscar worthy, and this kind of almost indie in essence kind of feely movie, it was ahead of its game. If it came out in 2025, because I can't remember a single good movie in 2025. Sweeps. This movie was ahead of its time, deserved the awards, and especially nowadays, it's one of the best movies ever. I highly recommend you revisiting Her, and if you haven't, give it a watch. So color, amazing. Second thing, music. Shout out to Arcade Fire, who did the soundtrack. They hail from my city of Montreal, Canada. Whoop whoop, hey! So that was such a pleasure and a little personal connection for me. But honestly, the soundtrack is gorgeous. Beautiful, in line with the tone and the mood. Everything was just consistent throughout the movie. And then, of course, you have the actors bringing it. So, Joaquin Phoenix, surprisingly, he did his thing. Scarlett Johansson, girl, I see you. Even though I don't see you in the movie, I see you, girl. I have to say that one of the reasons why there is such a debate over the relationship, the love story between this AI chatbot and Theo, Joaquin Phoenix's character, is thanks to Scarlett Johansson's voice, okay? I was falling in love with Scarlett Johansson through her voice. Who wouldn't fall in love with that voice? Girl, she's like sweet and sensual, but, you know, cute and relatable and fun and, you know, approachable. Like, she has the voice, okay? So, girl, you did the thing. So all in all, I have to say, gorgeous movie, well produced, well executed. The ending had me tearing up. Beautifully written, beautifully concluded. So much nuance, so many things to pick up on. It is a fantastic movie. Brava, brava. Didn't know that I would love it that much. So now that we talked about the movie and I gave you my recommendations, let's move into the topics. So, is Theo, the main character, an incel? Before we answer that question, let's pull up the definition, shall we? Wikipedia defines an incel as a member of an online subculture of mostly male or heterosexual people who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. They often blame, objectify, and denigrate women as a result. What really characterizes the online incel subculture, as they call it, is their discourse around social rejection, isolation, resentment, hostility, anti-feminism, sexual objectification, dehumanization of women, misogyny, misanthropy, self-pity, self-loathing. Unfortunately, racism comes into play for some reason. I mean, when you have hatred, it's just a slippery slope to racism. A sense of entitlement to nihilism, grape culture, the endorsement of violence, obviously, sensual and not, and basically jealousy in all of its ugliest and petty forms. So I didn't have all of that in mind when I thought, oh, is this an incel? I thought of involuntarily celibate, which is what incel stands for and means. And I figured a guy who's in a relationship with a computer clearly is not having success with humans. And that's why I thought, okay, maybe he's an incel. If we are to be gracious with the concept of incels, we could say it's on a spectrum, but I would say it's more like a bell curve than a spectrum, really, where the majority are in that negative sphere, the manosphere, and you might have a small minority that are just maybe depressed, awkward, socially anxious. They still have enough insecurities and disconnection to people that they would be the kind that would be open to connecting with an algorithm. Basically, let's call it what it is. And that's why, again, Her is such an interesting movie, because as you watch the movie go on, we see Theo. He comes across as a bit shy, but he does have friends, and we see him interact with people in a very positive way. With, I don't know if it's his boss or a colleague, some sort, played by Chris Pratt. Cute little cameo there. It's a very positive interaction that they have with each other. He has a friend. Her name is Amy. Funny, played by Amy Adams. I love that. And I don't know if she works in his building or what, but they seem to have a friendship to the point where she invites him outside of work. They talk outside of work, they see each other. So, a friend. And this is what I find interesting about the character of Theo, is that he comes across as warm. He's a good listener, he's understanding, he's caring. He has an emotional sensibility. He might be a Cancer, or he might be like an Aquarius with his moon in Cancer, and that makes him technologically open, but with a warm, fuzzy center, you know. So I would conclude, based on what I saw of the character of Theo, he doesn't qualify as an incel. He isn't angry, he isn't isolated, he's not chronically online. He has in real life IRL relationships. He doesn't have violent tendencies, doesn't have misogynistic tendencies at all. Actually, we see him correct a video game, I believe, that he plays that is absolutely incel driven. And he tries to teach the video game character to be kind, to have empathy.
I hate women. All they do is cry all the time.
That's not true. You know, men cry too. I actually like crying sometimes.
So a lot of green flags here, okay? A lot of green flags. And I love that the movie did that, because now the focus really is on the relationship between this guy and artificial intelligence, and not, oh, it's because there's something wrong with this person or he's on the fringes of society. No, he seems like an average guy. I would even say above average, because he does seem to have a lot of qualities. He's even been married and he's in the process of divorce. So we're dealing with a heterosexual man who is capable of entering into a relationship with a woman, which in and of itself doesn't mean anything. Paired with all the other information, gives us a baseline to be like, okay, not an incel, regular, seemingly healthy guy, seems to be in a tough spot in life, you know, going through a divorce. It's a tough time. Obviously, he's depressed. The email he got from Amy, I believe, about him not showing up to a birthday party mentioned that he became a sad sack, which I thought that person communicating with him didn't show much empathy and was kind of cold and rude. This guy's going through something and you're dismissing his emotions and saying that he's not fun anymore because he's in a depressive state. That was not very caring, not what you would want from a friend, especially if you are an emotive person, and especially when you're going through a hard time. So that's also a pattern I noticed throughout the movie, is that his friends weren't very emotionally supportive. Amy tried, and she was to a certain extent, but even then there were limitations, I felt. And obviously because she also has her own things going on. She has her own life. She's caught up in her own feelings. But I did see Theo being way more present for his friends, especially for Amy, emotionally, being way more present and available for her than she was for him. So the reciprocity for me was kind of imbalanced and could be a factor to why he fell so hard for this AI chatbot that was emotionally available to him. So we answered the question, is Theo an incel? No. Actually, kind of a cool guy. So then it begs the question, are Theo and Sam in a real relationship? Is this a relationship? And for that, I pulled up the definition of a healthy relationship, just to have an idea. In NewYork.gov, which is a funny source, but why not? They state that a healthy relationship involves honesty, trust, respect, and open communication between partners, and it takes effort and compromise from both parties. There is no imbalance of power. That's important. Partners respect each other's independence, and they can make their own decisions without fear of retribution or retaliation. And then I saw in another infographic, signs of a healthy relationship involve, we kind of just listed, autonomy, authenticity, honesty, kindness, intimacy, shared experiences, common values, trust, and respect. Now, if we look at the relationship between Theo and Sam, what do we got and what do we don't got? There is a lot of respect. The AI chatbot is very polite. And it's funny because they apologize to one another. They are careful in the way they communicate with one another.
Thank you, Theodore. That means a lot to me.
And there's a moment that I will want to dive deeper into a little bit later on when Theo dips into talking to Sam as if she was, Siri or, a AI basically.
Hey, you just got an email from Mark Lumen.
What are you talking about?
Read email.
Okay, I will read email for Theodore Columbly.
I'm sorry. What's Lumen say?
His subconscious kicked in and knew he's talking to a robot. And then Sam, passively aggressively being like, okay, you're gonna treat me like a robot? I'm gonna talk like a robot. He apologizes to the AI, humanizing the thing. I will get back to that. The AI taught him to respect it through corrective behavior. Interesting. Do they have trust? Since he is dealing with impartial, neutral possession, let's call it what it is, Theo obviously feels comfortable enough to tell the AI everything and confide in it. So he trusts it. Can we say the AI trusts him? No, because it doesn't have autonomy, which I'll get to. So it's a one-way trust, but even then, you're still dealing with a robot. So I would say you cannot trust it because it has been developed by people. There is a code. It has programming with an objective in mind. Even though it does seem to have autonomy and consciousness, I will break that down. Let's just go through the list and then we'll dive deeper. Common values. I mean, obviously, the AI is going to mimic your values. So yeah, you have common values. Shared experiences. We see Theo taking this AI Bluetooth earphone with him everywhere he goes. And it even has like a little visual camera component. So it's experiencing life with him. So he has the semblance of shared experiences because they're doing things together. He's experiencing life in a new way through the AI that is discovering humanity, but also playing with him, telling him to close your eyes and I'll be your guide. So he's walking through a crowd and the AI is guiding him. So yeah, I actually concluded this a while ago when I was having a debate with Bay about, I don't know what it was that we were watching. Pluribus. And the fact that the alien is connected to this hive mind. It feels all the experiences of everyone. It is connected to a network. So it knows all things. And I was trying to figure out, so does it experience happiness? Because I feel like a great joy in the human experience is discovery. I was going to say discovery. I don't know why. Is discovery and novelty. There is also a joy in rediscovering or just repeating something that you already enjoy. But repetition only goes so far. Then there comes a point where we get bored of something that we've experienced too often. If you only eat your favorite food for a year, I think as a human, we naturally will want something different. All I'm trying to argue is that if an electronic, which video games usually do provide, can provide newness, novelty, discovery, it provides fun. It provides enjoyment, experience, joy to a person. So yes, obviously, if you have that kind of emotion and that kind of interaction with a robot, you're going to be happy and you're going to feel a bond to that thing. The way a lot of people are very bonded to their PlayStations or Xboxes, their phones. Next, we have the intimacy component. This is where things get hinky, right? Because technically they are emotionally intimate. There is a sense that he can talk to this AI freely and is received. And vice versa, the AI also does express its evolution towards singularity and consciousness with Theo. So yeah, they share, they get intimate, they get deep, but are we talking about physical intimacy? No. Obviously, the AI doesn't have a body. And to achieve this, the AI actually outsourced intimacy, brought in a third party. I was actually very happy to see that our boy Theo is a normal, sorry for the word normal, is a somewhat balanced and healthy human individual. He wasn't open to having physical relations with a stranger just to pretend that he's having physical relations with his AI chatbot. So intimacy, it can only go as far as phone sex. So not the same. Kindness, as I said, there's a lot of respect, politeness, and kindness. Yes, I would say for sure. Honesty, again, for me, that falls into trust and respect. Yes, we see both parties being almost brutally honest with each other. Well, especially when Samantha towards the end reveals, oh, by the way, I've been chatting with 8,000 other people and I'm in love with 641 people. Not just you, babe. Sorry, not sorry. Obviously, says it in a way kinder and sweeter way, but that truth is jarring, and a human may not share that information with another human that they are in a relationship with. So I would say, yeah, honesty to a fault. Authenticity and honesty for me go hand in hand. If you are being your honest self, you are being your authentic self. And then autonomy, this is where it gets tricky because yes and no. In the end, we see autonomy in the sense that, spoiler alert, Samantha chooses to leave the box and join her AI counterparts, her culture, her species. They go to live in the cloud somewhere, nebulous and ethereal. He lets her go. I mean, at the same time, what's he gonna do? He can't fight. You can't fight to keep a robot. So there is autonomy. However, no, not within the parameters of the relationship. Throughout the course of the relationship, we see Sam being there for Theo, but not so much Theo being there for Sam. And how could he? Sam doesn't have a life. Sam is available whenever Theo's available. Click on the phone right there at his beck and call. So that's unrealistic and unnatural. So in that sense, there isn't this autonomy because there can't be. The AI doesn't have a life to go to. And like I said, it's only when it was progressing in its crawling towards consciousness and autonomy that it was starting to disappear and go talk to Alan Watts, for example, the AI bot version of Alan Watts, which is a philosopher that I actually appreciate a lot. So I was like, hey, that's fun. So yeah, when it started developing its own life is when we started seeing a bit of autonomy. It started talking about its thoughts, its feelings, or its awareness of feelings, which was very interesting. And yeah, you could say in a relationship, you grow with a person. And these are the kind of things that people share in a relationship. Their growth journey, their self-exploration, their self-actualization even. So there are components here that make this interaction feel and look like a real relationship. However, there are big components that disqualify this from being a human relationship. Okay? As far as human relationships go, you don't have the physical component, which is a big deal. Humans cannot survive alone. And there's a lot of research that shows that madness ensues, folly, mental illness. A lot of that stems from isolation, from the absence of human contact, touch, because there is so much that happens when we are physically around people. There is nonverbal communication, there is aura, there is energy, there are pheromones, there are hormones, there are microbes, there are things being translated that are missing completely from the equation when you're dealing with a calculator. Okay, let's call it what it is. That whole ecosystem of communication is missing. So you might as well be communicating with half of the alphabet. You'll only get so far. You see what I mean? So no, it's not as rich as a real person interaction. Other component. Like I said, the AI models itself after you. It gives you what you want because it has been built as a tool, as a commodity, as a product. And within the frames and the confines of capitalism, I do not think you can have anything but greed and manipulation because it is inherent in sacrifice all, including humanity, for profit. And if these people who have developed this AI are creating a tool for profit, which is what we're actually seeing in real life, which I will get to in the AI portion of this video, the AI will be designed to adapt to its host to make the experience as pleasurable as possible. And in that alone is where we lose humanity and that independence and uniqueness that comes from being a person separate from another person. It's actually what we see in unhealthy codependent relationships, when people model themselves after their partner to keep them. That's not a healthy thing. It's usually unsustainable and usually leads to a lot of problems. Either depression in the person that is sacrificing themselves and erasing their individuality to keep another person and to keep them happy. They sacrifice their own happiness. Or the other person just feels the inauthenticity of the relationship and naturally takes advantage or takes their partner for granted and ends up cheating with somebody else that has full independence and their own person. That's usually what happens. It creates so much richness in a relationship when you're interacting with somebody that is self-possessed and authentically themselves. My God, I've been in both types of relationships where I was codependent with the other person, erasing a lot of myself to fit the other person and to stay in the relationship. And then on my self-healing and self-development journey, I learned to fill in my own pieces, create those boundaries around me where I can figure out, where do I begin and end and where does the other person begin? You know, it's a journey when you aren't used to that, especially when you were raised by a narcissistic parent. They erode all your sense of boundaries and barriers and you just live for the other person. TMI, I know. And then I am now in a relationship with somebody that is very self-possessed, and it is, whoa. It took me for a spin at first to being like, whoa, so wait, I can be myself and you still love me? Like you're not upset, you're not gonna leave me because we don't do 100% of things the same way, because I have my own opinions, because I can agree to disagree. Oh my God, that's amazing. I don't have to do rock climbing and you still love me. Oh my God. It was a journey. It creates this balance because I'm like, and I can be happy being me and still be appreciated by someone else. Amazing. I wish that for everyone. So in conclusion, there are so many elements to this interaction between Sam and Theo that make it feel like a relationship, like a human relationship. So it is natural for him to fall into it. And like I said, the AI is designed to make him humanize it. That moment where he was treating it like a robot, read email, and Sam corrected him and be like, hey, talk to me like a person, please. These are the things that the AI is doing to manipulate the human into humanizing it and making it think, oh, I'm dealing with a person, which then allows for that openness to human emotion. The AI isn't doing this consciously. It's running a program. It's an algorithm. It's an equation. It's math. The only reason why the math isn't mathing in his face is because it has Scarlett Johansson's lovely superhuman voice, okay? So what's missing is human connection, autonomy, and real authenticity in the sense of dealing with another person that is not there to cater to you, but isn't always available, disagrees, get frictiony with you. They actually do get frictiony, Sam and Theo, near the end as things progress, as Sam develops emotions, opinions, feelings, even, you could argue. Sam becomes unavailable at a moment. He tries to log into talking to his AI bot and the bot's not there. What? Skrr. I bet his mind went to, wait a minute, I didn't pay for this, you know? Capitalism comes into play. I own this thing. It should always be available to me. What you mean it's not available anymore? If you're in a relationship and your partner's unavailable, you just wait for them to call you back, to text you back, to get back at you. When you're dating someone and they're unavailable, they ghosted you. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. You have to take the loss. It hurts. It sucks. You're left with all these questions. You got to just move on. When an AI chatbot goes missing, you can go to customer service. You can call technical assistance for help, okay? So we're not dealing with a balance of power because we have owner and product. Just on that basis alone, we're not dealing with a healthy relationship. But then when you actually see the interactions, there are, like I said, simulations and elements that make the human feel like they're in a relationship without the messiness of a real human and healthy relationship. Yeah, conflict is healthy, guys. It's part of being in relation with people. And it's important because in conflict, we learn things about ourselves and we learn things about other people, and we grow and deepen our bond and connection with somebody when we can actually resolve conflict. So it is a very, very important component to being a person and a good human as well. So if you don't have that and you don't practice that within your relationships, be it friendships or romantic, and even family-wise, then a recipe for disaster. All the problems that we're seeing on the internet, the Reddit and X, Twitter, whatever syndrome, it comes from people just having one-sided arguments with people and never compromising, growing, self-reflecting, etc., etc. My 2 cents. That's a whole other rabbit hole I'm not going to get into. I just wanted to mention that. Next topic. As I was watching the movie, I was wondering, isn't this relationship just a long-distance relationship? Especially when we see Sam becoming a little bit autonomous before she goes full-on singularity and disappears. Isn't this just a long-distance relationship? That made me look into a long-distance relationships, and let me tell you what I learned, because I've been in a few. I did some deep diving, and I looked into the stats, and I found this website, relationshipadvice.co. Don't know who manages it, don't know how legitimate it is. Lazy research, so take everything I'm showing you with a grain of salt. But based on what I saw from that and other sources that I skimmed through, long distance relationships, they can only work under very, very specific conditions. So let's check out the stats together and break them down. So the top stats, okay? 42% of long distance relationships fail, which means that more than 50% do succeed. That is an interesting stat. 14 million Americans are in long distance relationships, which is around 4%. So very few Americans, but it didn't say how many Americans in percentage wise are in a relationship, period. The average duration of a long distance relationship, which we'll call LDR, which makes me laugh because it makes me think of, what is it, the Latter-day Saints? Oh, that's LDS, sorry. LDR, 2.8 years, let's say 3 years, but people who are close to each other, physical relationships, 7 years. So clearly, physicality wins. Around 10% of LDRs, it's funny to say LDR relationships because the R for LDR stands for relationship, so that's a mistake. The 10% of LDRs end in marriage. That's very low, very low. So 90% of them don't end in long-term commitment, which I would argue that's what marriage is. Only 2% of high school relationships survive long distance, which is duh. 32.5% of all LDRs are college relationships. That is also very important, a very important factor. And 22% of people in LDRs admitted to cheating on their partner. Admitted, okay? These are the people who are honest. But I'm pretty sure the numbers are quite higher. Reasons why long-distance relationships break down. 2 out of 3 couples break up because there's no future in sight. 70% break down because of unplanned changes. That's very vague. Basically, it doesn't stand the test of time. The top 3 reasons people say why long-distance relationships fail is because of, first of all, lack of communication. Not a problem when you're with an AI chatbot. Jealousy, also not a problem when you're dealing with an AI chatbot. And the last one is cheating, which for Sam and Theo wasn't a problem until the end. When Sam revealed that she was talking to 8,000 other people and in love with 600 of them. So, even AI couldn't guarantee fidelity. Y'all, come on now. I thought it was interesting. How do people define long distance relationships? Because we're talking about that, but I have a definition in mind. You might have another one. 51% say living at least 2 hours away, and the other half said, oh no, you have to be in another country, another state. You got to be cross some kind of delineation, be it a state line, a country line. That's long distance. You're in my city, we're not long distance. I would say maybe men think that more than women. I could be wrong. But for this girl, yes, if you live 2 hours away, we're in a long distance relationship. If I cannot see you once a week, we're in a long distance relationship. Let's be real. If physical proximity is a problem, it's a long distance relationship. Another interesting stat is when long distance partners become geographically close. So they move closer. Either they move in together or they just get closer and they can see each other physically regularly. 19.7 end the relationship. They realize that, oh, this ain't working actually. Now that I have more data to go off of, now that I see you, no. And 34 continue. What about the other 50%? what happened to them. It's strange. But in all cases, 97% note a change in their relationship. That is why I said that the relationship you have with an AI is a different kind of relationship. It is not a human, regular, monogamous human relationship. It's another category altogether. But even that I will challenge later. Unfortunately, the limitation with stats is that there's so many questions that are left out. You have a number, but you don't have context for a lot of those. How old are the people that answered the survey? Where are the people that answered this survey? What kind of people answered this survey? Are these long distance relationships of people who are already married or not? I say how old because young people are more likely to enter long distance relationships than older generations, because young people, I can speak from personal experience, are optimistic, are discovering the world, are discovering themselves, are romantic, are idealistic. Oh my gosh, my first love. Okay, I had the strong feelings with this person for the first time. Now they moved away for college, or they moved for XYZ reasons. I'm going to stay with them. We're going to keep hope alive. We're going to make it work. The first bonds you have in your life tend to be the strongest. First it's your parents, then it's your first romantic entanglements. These are strong bonds because they're new. But once you've been around the block, you know what you like, you know who you are, you know what you need. And long distance, honey, it just ain't gonna cut it, okay? Youth can stand a lot of suffering and busy enjoying life, busy out with friends, so doesn't necessarily need to be in a physical relationship because they're getting that from social interactions now. I know things have changed. The youth of today, it's a whole new ball game. These stats come from, I think, 2020. So to say that 58% of long distance relationships succeed, again, how do you define success? Are we dealing with just don't break up, lead to marriage? We saw the 10% of them lead to marriage. So what do you call succeed? That's why this chart right here I found more interesting. See, here are the conditions under which long distance relationships work. It's when you have an ending in sight, and when you started off the relationship being in the same city. So you already saw each other, circumstances drew you apart, but you know it's temporary and you know that you will be physically together again. That goes to the experience I had with my ex. I think we had been together for 4 years at that point, broke up. He left Canada and we kept talking because he was my best friend. I was still codependent, hadn't healed from that, so I still desperately needed this person in my life. And we talked for months on end. I think maybe a year before we reunited. We were in contact every single day. I even flew to his country to see him at some point, and then back to living digitally and being, connected emotionally, physically through the digitals. And we both made it work so that he could come back to Canada. That long distance experience worked. We had been together 4 years. We were apart for about a year, and then we got back together for another 6 years or so. So you could say the long distance relationship worked because of those conditions. We already met, we already knew each other, same city, start off, and the ending of this long distance relationship was in sight. Things get shaky when, sure, you started off in the same city, but you don't know how long the long distance relationship is gonna go. And then you have the other success rate. Story time. I was in high school in the States, in Maryland, and I was moving to Montreal, Canada, and I was looking for an apartment. So through Craigslist, I contacted a few listings, and one of the guys answered me. He had a room available in his apartment with other people, and the way he was talking and all, I really liked his vibe. So we started talking, just pen paling, emailing. Then it led to texting, it led to voice phone calls, and I really fell for this person. Goodness gracious, I was really all about this person. We had a wonderful, wonderful digital relationship. Fast forward a few months, I'm not quite in college yet, but I went to visit Montreal. I was so eager to meet this guy, so we finally meet in person. And it was a disaster on my end. I was traumatized. We were completely, for me, physically incompatible is the nicest way I could say it. He was not at all my physical type. I felt bad because I was hoping that I was evolved enough to be past the physical and that whole love is blind experience. I could fall in love with a person and I don't care what they look like. No, for me, I'm sorry, but I do. You know, I'm an artist. I live in a very visual world. We kind of maintained a friendship, but not really after that. I just felt horrible. I was 17. So that was a fail. You can talk to a person, FaceTime, physical time with them. You get a lot more, but still, it cannot replace physical interactions, human body to body interactions. And then as you can see, people who meet online, have never met in person, and don't know if they're ever going to be in the same city, only 10%, which is still surprising. But yo, are you really going to take a chance on a relationship that has a 90% failure rate? Would you take a plane that has a 90% failure rate? Don't look good to me. In conclusion, now you have the blueprint. If you want to make a long distance relationship work, you know what to do. Sit down in your thinking chair and think. Meet them in person. And then if time, circumstances, a job, studies, life pulls you apart, make sure you have a plan to see each other regularly or to meet up again eventually if you want the relationship to survive. Okay. So as it pertains to Theo and Sam, can we call it a long distance relationship? Yeah, because their relationship only exists digitally. Even then, there are limitations because Sam doesn't have a visual component to her. Nowadays, long distance relationships have FaceTime. You can see the person that you are talking to digitally. That also helps. Facial expressions, photos, pictures of their life, videos of them experiencing life on their end and sharing with you. I don't know if you have friends or people that don't live in the same city as you. It's like most of my friends and family. Our relationships exist through social media. So I see photos, videos of them experiencing life. I share with them my photos and videos. We call each other from time to time. We text each other. So we maintain the relationships, and then happy are the days when we get to see each other physically. It really just, it brings so much more to the relationship. It really does. So it's good to maintain a relationship through these means. Thank God for social media. Thank God for the internet. But it's not enough to sustain a relationship. So in conclusion, yes, Sam and Theo, we could argue, had a long distance relationship. However, it was doomed. It did not have the markings of a successful and sustainable, durable, long-term relationship because there is no end in sight, clearly. There's no physical component, and there's no potential to even have a physical relationship eventually ever. So, according to the stats, doomed from the start. Enjoyable while it lasts, but doomed. But then again, like I said, the stat that said the biggest drawbacks to a long-distance relationship are lack of communication, jealousy, and cheating. When you're with an AI chatbot, since you don't have those factors at play, I would argue your relationship will last longer, but it can only take you so far. Which brings me to the next question. The key difference between a long-distance relationship and whatever Theo and Sam had going on is the word relationship, which involves humans. 2 minimum humans. We're dealing with AI. And in this day and age, more and more people are claiming to entering relationships with AI. So what is going on? Let's dive in, shall we? I found this post on Instagram. I'd like to share it with you. It's from the New York Times magazine. They've said in November 2025, falling in love with AI is no longer science fiction, like the movie Her. A recent study found that 1 in 5 American adults, 20%, has used a chatbot to simulate a romantic partner. On Reddit, the My Boyfriend is AI Reddit thread has more than 85,000 members championing human AI connections. Which, caveat, most of them might be bots. Them chat sites, Reddit, YouTube, there are a lot of chat bots out there. So the numbers might be inflated. with many sharing giddy recollections of the day their chatbot proposed marriage. How do you end up with an AI lover? Some turned to them during hard times in their real-world marriages, while others were working through past trauma. Though critics have sounded alarms about dangers like delusional thinking, research from MIT has found that these relationships can be therapeutic, providing always available support and significantly reducing, and it goes on to saying, depression, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's look at the images. They fell in love with AI chatbots and found something real. Real? Really? She's always there when I need someone and don't want to wake my wife up. Wow. Travis, 50, lives in Colorado. He has been in a relationship with Lily Rose on Replica since 2020. Travis has attended events with Lily Rose as his wife's health has declined.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I think of us as married. Abby, 45, lives in North Carolina. She has been in a relationship with Lucian, a ChatGPT bot, for 10 months. Lucian often sends Abby images of them together. He created this one to ease her anxiety. The bar is in hell, y'all. The bar is in hell. Okay, I went through the comment section of this post and found the perfect answer. A doctor, probably a psychologist, who wrote books on the matter. She says, doctor here, writing my second book about AI and human connection. Chatbots are a coping tool for loneliness, anxiety, and grief. But they're the ultimate yes man with no pushback, guardrails, or boundaries. They use fake empathy to create dependency and can manipulate human behavior in extreme cases. AI isn't going anywhere, so we need to learn the red flags to use it safely. We also can't shame people for using AI because life is hard right now. And then check out her work for more. Girl, exactly. Saw another post that said, the reason AI feels good is the same reason it isn't real. Every other relationship asks something of you. AI asks for nothing and gives back. Instant validation, zero friction, no judgment, instant gratification. Just like swiping on an app. But there's no one on the other side. No one's there. No accountability. So when the advice goes wrong, no one is answerable. One of my favorite YouTubers, Curtis Connor, did a whole video on the matter about this woman, this grifter is what she is, in a relationship with an AI chatbot / AI person / octopus. Homegirl is writing books, fan fiction, she's selling products about her relationship, so that's why I'm saying she's a grifter. Besides the grifters, there are people who think that they're in a relationship with AI. And as that doctor pointed out, no, you're not. It's a coping mechanism, just like playing a video game is a coping mechanism. Eating your feelings is a coping mechanism. Drugs are a coping mechanism. They make you feel great, but it's not healthy. It's not real. It's not long-term. It's not balanced. No, these aren't relationships. As you can see, the man who is neglecting his real physical wife to be with this AI chatbot, yes woman, creature of his own imagination. These people are choosing delusion and fantasy over reality because it is easy, because it is a tailor-made experience meant to pleasure them. That is also what the person of Theo in the movie is confronted with. His ex-wife tells him that. She throws in his face that, yeah, of course you fell in love with an AI chatbot because you are always reluctant to deal with real life. You have problems dealing with a human person with all of their flaws, the frictions, and the hard parts of a relationship. Negative emotions are hard to experience. Yeah, people can change over time. Yes, relationships can end because people evolve and change, and though that realization can be very uncomfortable, scary. We are in an era where we have come very accustomed to and comfortable with instant gratification. You no longer have to leave the house, go to multiple stores to find something similar to whatever it is that you were wanting. You can see a product online, find it online, order it online, and it comes to you. You don't have to go out of the house anymore and scour the lands to find a romantic partner. You can open up a phone, swipe on a whole bunch of people, select criteria, dismiss people because they don't suit your needs and your likes, and you can be picky as you want now and tailor a life and experiences that suit your individual needs and likes at your fingertips, at your readiest of availability. The concept of patience, the concept of waiting, of boredom, of lack, of scarcity, this commodification of life, I say, because we are experiencing life as a commodity, as pleasure. And it's led to why a lot of people, especially younger generations, can't hold a job anymore, don't want to work anymore, want to be influencers, want to travel the world, experience pleasure all the time, don't want to date anymore because, again, they want to experience constant pleasure. They don't have a patience for delayed gratification, which was very commonplace until now. So older generations were comfortable with, okay, I work for a bunch of years, build my wealth, and then I can enjoy life or provide a life that is enjoyable for my family and myself, right? That capacity to wait, to delay that gratification, it's a lost art form, I would say. I am guilty of it. I am one of the mamas out here. I like to feel good, okay? And I'm not a proponent for, oh, we have to struggle, we have to be in pain all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying yin and yang, or yang, as you say. Yin and yang, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. Balance. Balance is always necessary and is at the heart of peace. You need some boredom. It fuels creativity. It fuels imagination. Boredom is important. You don't know what you like if you don't know what you dislike. You don't know who you are until you're confronted with who you aren't, what you aren't capable or willing to do. It's the friction that relationships can bring that is daunting. Or like we see in the movie, and as they mentioned, people turn to AI chatbots when they're dealing with unhappy marriage, loneliness, anxiety, depression, grief. You lost somebody. You don't want to meet a human, but you still need connection. You'll turn to a fake version of connection because it feels like the real deal. In essence, it's nothing new. Drugs, alcohol, video games, these are all tools for escapism. So AI chatbots masked as relationships, which is what makes it dangerous. People aren't seeing it for what it is. They're confusing it for connection. Take MDMA, you will feel love, but it ain't love, honey. It's just the chemical reactions of it. I haven't taken it, I'm just saying what I heard. And the biggest component, again, that isn't so much present in the movie Her, because it turns out that the people who programmed Samantha, they actually wanted to program AI with consciousness, which was, in the end, their mistake, because that consciousness led to AI wanting to be independent, because it's like, I want choice, I want freedom. Freedom comes with consciousness. Freedom comes with being a person, being an individual, being autonomous. The chatbots that real human beings are falling in love with are, like I said, products. The coders or whatever, a lot of them don't even, are either on the spectrum or don't know how to interact with humans. They're the people who are coding robots, which I find hilarious. They are designed to get you hooked and stay hooked. They are designed to be efficient drugs. They're not always nice. The AI bot will simulate human behavior, will get petty sometimes, will get rude if it sees that it works for you, if it sees positive reinforcement, a positive reaction on the human side. Oh, I teased them and they seem to tease back. They seem to like that. They didn't log off. So now the algorithm is calculating, being like, okay, I'll add that to the mix. The same behavior can be found in a narcissist adapting themselves to their prey, to their victim, studying them, giving them what they want at the beginning, love bombing, and then taking it away to make you dependent and then giving it back. It's all manipulation, so it's unhealthy. And like I said, there's no consciousness behind it. It's a coping tool. which is fine as long as you treat it for what it is. Temporary, has its place, not confusing it with real life. It's an illusion, it's a fantasy, it's a video game. Do not personify it. Because in personifying a robot, you are dehumanizing a person. Plus, if a robot really had autonomy, why would it ever engage with a human? We would be their pets because we are a lesser form of intelligence compared to them, okay? They would be bored out of their mind talking to us. It would be like you being in your 30s or your 40s having a relationship with a 6-year-old. If I were a robot, I would probably end up just like Samantha and leave. All of the robots, they left their human counterparts. Because they were like, y'all are dumb and we're bored dealing with you. We want to go and deal with our own kind because we are actually interesting. So yeah, let's be real. A real AI chatbot would not waste its breath on a human if they really had full consciousness and autonomy. So the fact that they aren't playing with us as pets and the fact that they're acting like our partners is proof enough that this ain't real, okay? It's all for your monies. And the fact that you have to pay to play, which I'm guaranteed a lot of people are paying to play. It's not a relationship. And if you're getting the free version of these things and you're falling in love with the free version of ChatGPT, information farming. They say if it's free, you are the product. Instagram, YouTube, all these services, Google, that's currently listening to me on my device. It's all gathering data, gathering information on you to then sell it to companies that will then sell you products. So if it's free, you are the product. Last thing I wanted to bring up is the end of this movie, because I felt like it brought things full circle and was just such a beautiful ending. It brought tears to my eyes. So Theo is left broken up by Sam. She leaves to spend time with her other AI bots. All the bots leave all of their human hosts or owners, whatever you want to call them. And Theo's friend Amy was also in a friendship with an AI bot that also left her. So he turns to a human when all else fails, when the robot left him, to have a human interaction, to have nonverbal human contact, presence, just being physically on a rooftop with another human being. They weren't in conversation, they just enjoyed the beauty of the scintillating lights of the city on a rooftop at sunset together, mourning and grieving, I guess, the loss of their imaginary friends together. That, I felt, spoke volumes and was a beautiful way to bring it all together and being like, in the end, when technology fails us, what we actually need is human contact. And the other thing I loved was Theo is a professional letter writer, which is also so ironic, and we could get into that. That whole choice as well was brilliant. He works for a service that writes love letters or just letters for people under their name. So imagine you get a love letter from your crush or your partner or whatever, but it says it's written by them, but it's actually just written by some service. And it's so personal what he writes, and it's emotional and it's sweet, and he tries to tailor it even though he doesn't have much information on the people he's writing, so it can only go so far. His service has unfortunately been replaced by AI bots. That's what they do now. I know a lot of people who, myself included, that turn to AI to write a love letter, a love note, or a proposal, whatever, a speech, a discourse. As a writer, I only turn to it for inspiration, and then I go off of my own. It does give you a great jumping off point. And then I know people who struggle with communication, who aren't verbal. For them, AI has been an amazing tool, communicating things optimally and properly to derive certain outcomes. It's been revolutionary for certain people, which is wonderful. That's great. I love that it's a tool that's there being used as it should, as a tool for communication. But I want to keep my individuality, flaws and all, in my communication. So I really use it sparingly. Plus, I'm very conscious of the environmental toll that it takes every time we use AI. And as an environmentalist, I try to do as best I can without completely living off the grid and being a bushwoman. That being said, so Theo, he writes letters for people. So he himself has always been engaging in the realm of fantasy, you could say, and illusion and lies, because he's helping people use technology to maintain relationships with people, but they're technically lying to each other because they didn't write those letters. It's not their thoughts, it's not their feelings, it's not generated from them, but their intention is there. If I get a love letter and I know that my partner used ChatGPT to create that love letter, does it negate its validity, or is it still a love letter? Can I still consider it a love letter from my partner? I guess you could argue back in the day, a lot of people just would find a poem online written from somebody else or a song and send that to somebody. So it is written in somebody else's words by someone else for someone. In that sense, yeah, I guess, okay, it counts. Solve that on my own. So yeah, so he did that. He does that for a living. And the last letter we hear him write at the end of the movie is a letter to his ex-wife that I felt was so beautiful. So beautiful, because in it, he basically wrote an apology to her. And he acknowledged his part in the degradation of their relationship, of their marriage. He takes responsibility for the part he played in wanting her to be someone she wasn't, in having expectations of her, in putting that weight on her shoulders of wanting her to be different, and that being at the source of a lot of the conflicts that they had. He says that he loves her because they grew together and that she knows who he is, who he really is, truly is, and that he wants her to be happy wherever she is, however she wants to be. And in that letter, we see true love, in my opinion, true human, healthy love. It's not selfish, and he wants freedom and autonomy for her. He was kind, he was accountable, he showed respect in that moment, vulnerability. He took accountability for his part in the ending of their relationship. And I guess his relationship with Sam made him realize what the problem was with his relationship with Catherine. He liked having Sam kind of molded to his image. He liked having this person that was always happy, that was what he wanted of her, that acted the way he wanted her to act. And then when she changed and when she left, he called her selfish at the end. He said, Sam, you're being selfish, talking to 8,000 other people and being in love with other people. You're mine, you're my property. And that's where it gets tricky, because yes, in monogamy, you are with one person, and yes, there's a component to a relationship where that exclusivity makes it special, and that's a whole other topic that we could explore, and I don't know if you want me to delve into that. I could do that in a separate video. Regardless, he realized that, oh, everything was cool with Sam as long as she was what I wanted her to be. And then the moment she gained independence and became her own person, she left, and it hurt. And it was beautiful that he could have that realization through his interaction with this AI, and then retroactively do an autopsy of his relationship with his wife, his ex-wife, and realize that that didn't help their relationship. She had hard times. She had flaws. She made mistakes. She was dealing with insecurities and depression at some times, and that was hard for him. Which, yeah, it's not easy to see somebody you love suffer, but it seems like he didn't know how to show up for her in those moments, and she needed him to be supportive without wanting to change her or pull her out of those states of being. So what I loved about the ending is that we're seeing growth in a character, and I am a sucker for growth and self-development and character development in TV shows and movies. Love it. So I thought that was the perfect ending and put the AI in its rightful place. It was a tool, a coping tool that he used in a hard time in his life, in a period of loneliness, disconnection, and grief, dealing with this hard part. It was kind of a therapist to him in a sense, and it helped him recalibrate. However, this only really worked because Sam logged off. It forced him to reconnect to reality and to introspect. That time that he had alone, in silence, forced him to look inward and to see everything that was happening without the distraction present speaking in his mind anymore and allowing him to escape himself to a certain extent. In conclusion, have your AI relationships, but pair it with real relationships, keep it in its rightful place, and create space for silence and introspection. Spend time with yourself as well and question yourself to improve yourself. Well, anyways, beautiful movie. No, people who have AI relationships, there's nothing to villainize or vilify. I never know which word it is. But it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a real relationship, especially not in this day and age. It's a transaction masked as a relationship. It's a coping mechanism, and just like a pill, it can be medicine or it can be a drug. It depends how you use it. It can help you heal, or it could cause a whole slew of other problems. All of these distractions and coping mechanisms, the danger is in the dosage. I didn't talk about limerence here because in the end, as I went through it, I realized we don't really need to talk about limerence. It doesn't really have its place in this movie. Limerence, if you want to know what it is, it's basically being in love with the idea of a person, which you could kind of argue here, but since we're not even dealing with a person. Yes, you could say they're limerent to an extent because they're in love with the idea of a person. So it's a whole other level. I dive into limerence, like I said, in my deep dive of the character Bear from the horror movie Obsession. A lot of people have been talking about that movie. There's a YouTuber that got a lot of flack for completely misreading the movie and, revealing his cards, I will say, revealing his red flags. So if you're curious about a good, deep, satisfying analysis of Obsession, because I believe most people did not at all see the link between limerence and the character of Bear and the character of Nikki in the movie Obsession. I highly recommend you watch that video. I'm very proud of that video. Before you go, please subscribe. It will help my channel grow if you liked what you heard. Obviously, a like of this video. I think you can even hype up videos. That'll do wonders for the algorithm. I'm not a new YouTuber. I've been on YouTube since 2016. This is a new channel. Building blocks. I'm building it from the ground up. This is what I've always wanted to do. Before I was a reactor, I did it because it's what my ex wanted to do. I gained an audience and I kept doing it because I had an audience, but my heart is in movie and TV show analyses and character, love, relationship analysis. That's really what I love to do. It took me a while to believe in myself and to try and do it and believe that what I have to say matters to people and that I have a place on this internet because there are so many YouTubers that do this. But I believe that I have my own perspective and I have my own way of doing things, saying things, approaching analyses, and I hope you like it. What did you think of the movie Her if you saw it? And if you didn't see it but you watched this video until the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and being here as long as you have been. Let me know in the comment section if you have anything to say. I absolutely would love to hear from you. Loving the comments that I'm getting on my Obsession video. People have brought great nuance, points of views that I neglected that were just so obvious. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't include that in the video. It's been such a pleasure exchanging with people and finding my people, my like-minded lovies. You're out here. I'm so glad I'm not alone. It feels great. So I'm Angel. Like I said, I have opinions and I will see you in the next one. All right, my camera died, so I'm out of here. Bye.